Well, hey everybody, it is Romania Black, and we are on episode 21 of March Comes In Like a Lion. And I had to take there's gonna be several things that are different today in the reaction than normal, and I'm gonna explain them all, I promise. But yeah, I had to take my contacts out because they were just killing my eyes today. And usually it's my contacts run a cycle, and so every 8 weeks I take them out. I have the very weird contacts that you can actually leave in and sleep in. I've wore them for like I've wore the same brand of contacts for like the last 16 years. My eyes take really good to them, so that's the positive. And I can wear them for about 8 weeks, but like right when they're about, I can tell it's time to take them out, even though I write it down in my planner, because they start to like just get super dry and irritate my eyes. And it's like, nope, that's time. Take them out, let your eyes rest for a day, and then put some new ones in. So today is rest day, but I wanted to watch episode 21 of March Comes In Like a Lion because we're almost done with season 1. Huh, insane, right? So I do have a comment I want to talk about here in just a second. We'll get to it. But I'm so excited to be it's weird to be halfway done with the series. It really is, but I'm really excited about it. I know a lot of people in the Discord have been like, oh, I want season 3 to come out for March Comes In Like a Lion, because I know that the manga is ongoing. And you know what? There's been a lot of series where they've gotten a third or a new season after 6 or 7 years. So who knows? We may get that. That'd be amazing, right? So we'll just have to wait and see. But I am really excited to see season 2, but we still have 2 more episodes to get through. Death to Boredom pointed out with Shimada, who lost last episode, and it was just such an emotional episode. I was like, but what can we do? But Death to Boredom pointed out how even more tragic it is because Shimada's hometown that he's from apparently is one that produces the most shogi pieces in Japan. And that makes a lot more sense because like the banner was talking about like a master in this shogi prefecture, and I was like, are they connected to shogi? And they are. So that explains why they have the match there, why it's such an important like place to have it, and it just makes his loss all that much more heartbreaking. So thanks, show. But yeah, thank you, Death to Boredom, for pointing that out. The other thing that I want to point out before starting this is that I've had a lot of kerfuffles lately, just with copyright and getting things up and going. And I know a lot of reactors are having trouble with PIP reactions and things like that. It is what it is. Even though I consider this fair use, I feel like you all are watching me for my content, my commentary, the reaction. You would go to a streaming service if you wanted to watch the actual content, but that's not what this is. But I don't get to dictate what bots and other things do. So I know the studio that runs this series, and that makes me very nervous now that I've figured that out, which as I was looking through my series of what company owns what, I was like, oh, that owns this show? And so I feel like with a couple of my shows, I do need to switch to timer-based reactions. The link down below will still have the PIP if you want to view it. There won't be sound, unfortunately, because I'm not techie, and all I know to do right now with the technology that I have knowledge of is to do the timer-based or to take the sound off using headphones. So I will keep that down there for those of you that want to see it. But this is just something that I think will have to be practiced for right now until things change. Just it is what it is. I've had several people in the Discord tell me that they actually sync my stuff up to reactions anyway, to the actual content. So for you all, this will make no difference. And I'll have like a countdown in the timer so you can make sure it syncs. And I'll try to include like the first couple of seconds so you can see it and sync it up. But it just is what it is. And I want to keep reacting to content and giving that to you. So I hope that you all understand. Obviously, I'm going to try with some older series, maybe where licensing is not such of an issue, to keep things as they are. But we just do what we got to do. It's like you just have to evolve and adapt. It's like Ray, you if you go from one island to the next, you just got to keep adapting and going. That's all there is to it. So I appreciate you all and your understanding and support. And I'm sorry it can't be another way, but it will obviously alleviate a lot of stress on my part to not have to worry about that. So But before we start, I also want to give a big shout out to our philanthropy tier over on Patreon, who not only support me each week, but are also super kind and very helpful in making it to where I can maintain this channel. So thank you all so much to my subscribers, to Patreon, but especially to the philanthropy tier, including Alex Cornejo, Anime Annie, Be Happy, Bryant Reed, Dana, Danger Zone, Destiny Marie, Danny Donmai, Davarin, as well as Damage 3245, Ichu, Eric, Kiri, Ghostly Turnip, Fisho, El Freya, Lyndon, Matthew Palfinier, Murphew, Nameless Monster, Nicholas, Sunspots, Trails, Shimoyama, and Translucent Men. Thank you all so much for all of your support. I really appreciate it. All of my love. So yeah, the match is over, but we have 2 more episodes. So the big question is, what now? That is the question. So we're going to have to find out, won't we? But we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to dive into episode 21 of March Comes In Like a Lion. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And let's go. There's like a storm brewing outside, so I was like, but it's very patchy, so I'm like, it's one of those situations where it's like, do you wait an hour to see if the storm is going to pass, or do you just go for it? And today was a go for it day. I can't believe we're only going to have 2 more episodes with this OP. That is so mind-blowing to me. I honestly, is it weird that I think I like this OP more. I think I like the ED from the first half better, ED-wise, but I think I like this OP more. But that's like comparing apples and oranges. This one is happier, so I think that automatically draws me to it. Yeah. I don't know if we have anything left of the OP to get to that we haven't already. It's just like, what else do we now? Since, you know, Soya has clearly won the tournament. He remains the Lion King. Although, would we call him Kimba, the white lion, because he is like a little snow lion? I don't know. Oh. Oh. So cute. When the cherry blossoms bloom. For such a short period, don't they? Oh, cute. It's so perfect. Aww. That's so cute. Aww. And a chicken nugget. Give me my nuggies. That looks amazing. All of that. Yeah. Well, that town is practically not populated. Oh, is this the same time? But they're probably indoors. Human shogi. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that'd be neat. I want to see that. Is that where he's at right now? Oh, no! A Rainbringer. Oh, you're not a Jinx, Shimada. Oh, no! Oh, my God. Oh, my God, what? This is the worst! Oh, Shimada, bless you! Ray's not distracted at all. It is kind of creepy. Oh, Ray getting like so emotional. Oh, yep, that's the city of Shogi. Yeah. Yeah, just give it to me rather than just be kind, you know, out of sympathy. Ah! Ah! And that's exactly... Ah! You wanted this! Oh, so it's happening in their city. Aww. Aww. He's still like a local celebrity, regardless. Oh, that's so cool. French whale cake. I want that. Hell yes. Give me all the food. Oh, bless your heart. Oh! Yes! Oh, red looks great on him. Oh! Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. Oh! Colonel Sanders, you're the best. Oh, him! He's even more gaunt than Shimada. Kobayakawa? Takakage? I vaguely remember him. Oh. I love that they're like living shogi. These girls are like, yes! Let's get into this! Oh, Yokomizo, that was his name. He's unfortunately forgettable. Oh. Oh, I love... This would be actually kind of complicated. Are they, like, gonna freak out against each other on stage? I want to see, like, some stuff go down. 40 minutes later! Oh! You can't go back now, you have to say it on the mic. Oh, wow. I love them with their little vests. Yeah, because it's totally a different environment. That old man's like, your move, sir. Oh my god, Nikaido's so adorable! He's just like, yes, please. Oh! Wow. Yay! He's so proud! Look how happy he is! He's the happiest little kitten. Oh. Nice. Ah! It's Yokomizo! Oh. 100 move event. Do you have to, like, win in under 100 moves? Oh! The chairman is actually going to compete. I want to see him play. I want to see him perform. Come on. Oh, shut up. That is so insulting to Shimada. He played through that. Yeah. Bullshit. To beating you. I guess because he's out of practice. Are they all the townspeople? Oh my god! Yes! Uh-huh. Oh, come on, you two. Oh, it's him. What is his voice? Oh, no, they probably were like, you're such a weirdo. What? Oh, he does puns. He's like the one guy from Haikyuu. Uh-huh. Oh, that little kid looks so happy. And all these kids. Oh. They've come to beat you, Chairman. Oh. Oh. Oh, I'm rolling up his suit sleeves. Oh, he's like, I'd really like the food. I need the iron, you know. Oh, Nikaido. I love that it's like, oh, do they each make a move each time they go by? Oh. Oh. Yeah. Oh. You have. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's his hometown. Oh. Deep down in the Black Hills lived a young boy named Rocky Raccoon. So this melody sounds like that. Oh. Oh. And that was like the flashback to his childhood where we saw all of this. Oh. He's such a sweet man. Why can't he exist in real life? Oh, yeah. 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 No, Ray's like, no, I'll listen to anybody. Oh. Yeah. Oh, it felt like he was wanting to take a picture of him. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, this is so cute. I love it. Yes. With the cherry blossoms. The idea of Ray filled with joy is so amazing. Yes, please. Yes. Get filled with joy. And those whale rice cakes. Ooh, dried persimmons. Yes, please. Oh. No need to rush, Kai. Oh. Oh. They look so young there. Yes! Sweetheart. Oh, I love it! Small murmur. Are we talking about the rumor murmur or the health murmur? Their grandpa is literally Willy Wonka. Yes, those look so amazing. Aww. He's like the Japanese Paul Hollywood. Oh, clever. Get that marketing skills up, girl. Oh, these girls are like primed and ready to take over the bake shop. Oh. Get with the young kids, Gramps. What's the kids gonna buy? Ooh. Ooh. Apples. Ooh. Ah! Oh! Oh! How dare you insult the Japanese style cuisine? Heresy. Well, yes, but Hina's like, listen to me. Sweet shops are traps. Absolutely they are. You are correct. 'Tis a trap. Right, you're splurging once in a while. Oh. Ha! They are traps! Yes! Oh no! It's just gonna keep adding up! Oh my god. It's like 4 times as much. That's how it all works. Yes. Oh, wow. Well, when you put it that way. When you put it that way. Huh. Ha! He's like, I'm running a sweet shop. Oh. She's so cute. No, not gum. What? Like bubble gum? Ah! Ooh, sweet green paste. What is that with? And matcha. He doesn't want the whipped cream. No. No. Oh no. Maybe they should ask Ray. Oh. 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 They are like little Daruma dolls. Ah. Oh. 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 And they're cute. Oh, that's really cute. Nice. And limited time flavors. Oh, that's so cute. I would buy that in a heartbeat. Like, oh. Hmm. Uh. Hmm. Mikako. Hmm. Hmm. Oh. Oh, the rabbit. Oh. Show, you were doing really good. Don't try to make me cry now. I was like, is she gonna call Ray? Oh. 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 Oh, that's so good. Oh, and Momo's just losing her mind. Oh. Oh. Yes. She wants to inherit the sweet store. Oh, girl, yes, please. The little murmur. She wants to run the sweet shop. Oh my god. Oh. That is so freaking cute. Oh. I like want to savor the rest of this ED as well. I always am afraid when we get to the last episode of a season that it'll be one of those episodes that won't show the ED or won't show the OP because it's like an extended episode. And so I want to try to like savor the one here now that we have since it's the end of the episode, end of the season. I really like this ED too because it's kind of like Ray and Soya in it because that was Soya at the intro of it with the white hair, right? Or did they show Ray just with that image? There reminds me of the Little Prince. Always. That little image of him on the shoreline reminds me of the Little Prince. And describing Soya as a bird. Yeah. So this is like Ray and Soya. But it's almost like I think of Soya, I think of Sora, I think of Sky, and then with Ray, I think of like the sun and like a ray of light. I know that the translation isn't quite there, but hmm. Oh, it's just the next episode preview. Oh, well, I mean. Oh. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We might as well go back and talk about this. Oh man, let's get past this OP and get down to the nitty gritty. Well, this episode, I will say, I feel like it's a little deceptive, because everything went really well. This was like not the penultimate episode that I would have seen for this series. And, you know, normally you think of a series like this, we've been building up all of these matches and all this angst and all of this, like, emotions. But last episode kind of purged that all out with Shimada losing. And this episode was kind of like, this episode felt like the aftermath. It was very sweet. It was very kind. It was very, like, heartwarming. And I feel like next week is the season finale for season 1. So it's going to be just, like, maybe setting the stage for what season 2 is going to be about, setting the stage for the new challenge. Ray seems like in such a much better place, which I have a feeling he's going to need to be if he's going to need to move forward and keep fighting. So that's good. So yeah, this was kind of like, normally I feel like when you have a season, it normally takes like different forms for the penultimate episode. The penultimate episode can either be the big like setting up towards the climax, and then your season finale is the climax and resolution, or your penultimate episode can be the climax and then you have the resolution in the next episode. This is kind of that weird like third route where you had the climax last episode. This is like the slide down the resolution, but because the series isn't over, it's just the end of an arc. We're about to like, we went down one roller coaster loop and now we're about to go up the other one. We're hitting the bottom of that first hill and we're about to like ricochet ourselves back up into the air. So that's really cool. But this episode was so peaceful. It was so peaceful. It was so calm. It was just beautifully animated, which Shaft Studio at this point, having seen Madoka Magica and this one, like Shaft Studio, is Shaft one of my favorite animation studios right now? I think so. I really like Kyoto Animation. I really like Free Iwatobi Swim Club, and Kyoto also does Sarune. I love that series as well for how beautiful it is. And Violet Evergarden, that series is beautiful as well. I think Kyoto is very like, it's so detailed in its animation, and it's so like expertly, like just there's so many finite details in their animation for their studio that I really, really appreciate it. But I kind of really like Shaft because it's so experimental. Like it's not experimental to where it's ugly. It's experimental in a beautiful way. Like they take risks, and the way that they animate things, it can be very symbolic or it can be very stylistic, but it never feels like it's just being ugly and experimental. It feels like it has a purpose and a weight to it. And I've really, really enjoyed the animation from this studio. It's not just trying to be like glossy or look cool, but it has like an artistic value to it that I think sets it apart from other animation studios. And so I really, really appreciate that. I wish that I could be in Japan during cherry blossom season. Let me tell you, it's really funny that this kind of like the rural scene of the hometown of the sisters and then Shimada's hometown. I have some friends of mine right now that their daughter, she's in college here in the States, and her roommate was actually a study abroad student from Japan in Osaka. And so her and her mom and her sister are in Osaka right now visiting and just getting to tour. And so I'm following them on social media as they're posting all these things. And I'm so jealous because they like they've been to Shibuya, they've gone to Kyoto, they've gone into Tokyo, they're in Osaka, and they've like been traveling around. And where they are right now is like a very rural area where it's just like little street markets and venues, but then they go out and go see the agriculture of the area. Like it's so sweet. And it just like this episode kind of reminds me of the stuff that they've been sharing, and I think it's so cool to see like how rural areas are for different cultures, right? I would would take the bento boxes of these sisters any day of the week. Like the little apples that are in the shape of rabbits with the little toothpicks you can take out, the tuna in a can, the little octopus sausages, like all the stuff. It looks like they have like corn, peas, and carrots like in a little mush there, some pasta and meatballs. Like it's all super, super cute. I love it. I love the bento box concept. And they're like, I wonder if Rei has gotten to Yamagata next. The human shogi. They usually hold it in a big park with the beautiful blue sky and mountains. And then we cut straight to it like pouring down rain. So, which, you know what? That is the realism of this series. It's like that all sounds well and good. And then when you actually go and get to see it, it's like, oh, never mind. Poor Shimada being like, I'm a rain bringer. Which kind of cuts back to the rain right before him and Soya's match. Uh-huh. And then, so he feels ashamed that he lost straight losses, and now he has to come back. That really is adding insult to injury, that he had to, like, not only lose 4 matches in a row and not get to compete in his hometown, but then he still has to go to his hometown and show up and be there. It's like, yeah, I can imagine why you wouldn't want to do that. So, oh my God. Anyway, this chairman. I like the chairman. The chairman is so extroverted. He is so outgoing and over the top. And Shimada's just like, please leave me alone. Someone commented that you can always tell, I think it was H Banana 7 maybe, was commenting that you can always tell which one is the chairman because he has a pinstripe suit. And here, instead of a blue suit, it's brown, but it's still pinstriped. So it's like, yeah. Poor Shimada, though. He's just like, I just want to not be embarrassed when I go back to my hometown. You know what I really love is that when they get to the train station, it's echoing this like lonely-ish melody. And I like 2 things. One, they subvert that at the very end, that the lonely melody of the empty train station, when they're leaving, it has a much happier kind of sound to it because of the impact that we see Shimada have on Rei in this episode. But also, Rei showcasing his emotions. Like, Rei at the very beginning of season 1 would not be freaking out in a train station because of a creepy melody. He would just be kind of like maybe thinking it internally, but he would not be externalizing any of that emotion. So the fact that he is here with Shimada, I think it shows how comfortable Rei is around Shimada, and it's just really cool. So yeah, so what Death to Boredom was talking about in terms of the city that Shimada is from making the shogi pieces, that when we saw this thing from the city of shogi, now that all makes sense. I saw that banner a few episodes ago and I was like, from the city of shogi, what does that mean? They make all the shogi pieces, or the most. So that all makes sense. Shimada is such a good character. I feel like I don't think we'll have as much focus on him next season. I think he'll still be around, but I don't know if we'll have as much focus. I do hope that he sticks around, and I do hope that we still have more scenes of Rei going to the workshops and talking with him, because I love Shimada's character so much. He's such a good character. He's just so nice. He's just a nice guy following his dreams, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's so heartwarming, right? Also, the clock above the banner is in the shape of a shogi piece. That's so freaking cool. I love it. I love Shimada and the message he takes away from this episode. And now we find out about all of the old people from the city. We find out what that's all tied up into, and it just makes me love his character even more. Like, where's my real life Shimada? I would be with you in a heartbeat, sir. And so he's like, I'd rather than berate me. And then, of course, he gets there, and the first thing they do is berate him. And then he's like, well, I didn't mean it like that. So I love the idea of this tournament where it's just a shogi-themed festival. I love it. And, like, all the people, like, getting to play the pawns and the different pieces is so cool. I like that you get to, like, look around, and Shimada's a local celebrity. Like, everybody knows who he is. So it's super cute. But there's like a club with all of these like different commodities, all these different foods, and then like the whale rice cakes that look amazing. I'm instantly all about it. They have like the little samples. I don't know if you all have ever been to like a Sam's Club before. There's probably an equivalent overseas and not just in the States. Sam's Club in the US is like it's kind of like an upscaled Walmart. It's like the best way I can describe it. But you have to have like a membership to shop there, which the membership's super easy to get. But my mother used to work there, And so when I was a kid, I would go there all the time with her to get like commodities of groceries, and they would have little stands out, and they would be taste testing all of the foods. And as a kid, I like ate a lot. Like I went through a growth spurt in 6th grade, and I'm 5'8", and by the time I was 12, I was 5'8". So I gained a lot of, I got really tall really quickly. And so I ate a lot as a kid. And my mother, if she was like, okay, you need to eat something, she would like take me to Sam's. Where this is such like a poor person thing, but I guess. But I would just go to all the stalls, and just my snacks would be eating like samples from everything, and my mom would be like, just go do that. It's such a hillbilly thing to do, but I'm like a big fan. So yeah, anytime somebody has samples out, I'm like, yes, I will try that. But yeah, so I love Nikaido's different shogi outfit. Oh my god. Nikaido is like so adorable in this episode. He had like the little Neko face the whole time he was playing, just having the best time. He's so excited to be wearing the outfit. And we get his butler, who's dressed up like Colonel Sanders here. His butler's so sweet. He looks like he's like the daimyo Shingen himself, like a full-sized boys festival doll. Yeah, Nikaido is just so sweet. I love him so much. So yeah, then we have they keep getting his name wrong. It's Yuko Mizo, right? Is that it? Yeah, they have the 42nd annual tournament, and they have the opponent is Yoko Mizo, who's 7th Dan. Yoko Mizo, I'm sorry, Yoko Mizo, I really am, but he has a very memorable face, but a very forgettable name. I can never remember his name, Yoko Mizo. I can never remember it. I know it's been said before, and he's been in other episodes. You can tell he has more gaunt cheeks than Shimada. His face is cut like a dang diamond. It's like he's so much more gaunt than Shimada, if that's even possible. I just feel bad that he's very forgettable. But I think that this human shogi thing is so interesting. It's kind of like I've always wanted to go to one of those big like life-size chess piece matches and just play with that. I've always thought that would be so cool. But I would imagine that the way that this is played and sort of the environment that it's in would make it such a different experience. Because, you know, when you have like a little board in front of you, you can kind of look over and you see the whole board as a whole. So you can kind of see like not only your moves, but your opponent's moves. And you can see how things will look when you move it around. Here, I mean, do they have little shogi boards in front of them, or are they just relying on what they see in front of them with the live audience? I feel like maybe they have a little shogi board in front of them, right? I think that they do. But still, it's a different environment playing. And it's also a different environment because not only are you with humans playing as the pieces, but you're also talking into a microphone as you announce your moves. That adds another layer of stress on it because, you know, there's the pressure of not only you looking at your board, thinking of what you're going to do, but there's the pressure of an audience watching you and you having to like make up your mind and then speak in the microphone and tell them what you're doing. There's a lot of extra factors in that. So like playing in public in this type of scenario would definitely, I think, be more daunting than doing it in like a small room where it's a private audience, right? I also love Shimada and Rei and their little vests that they wear. I love, of course, Shimada has green because it's just like the best color on him. And Rei has blue. And Rei has blue. Nikaido has red. It's just, it goes together. Does Soya have purple? I feel like Soya would have purple to be royal, right? So yeah, and then he ends up making the wrong move. And I just love Nikaido. When you zoom in on his face, he is the happiest little thing. He's the best little lamb. He's just like, yes, 3E pawn. He's like, he's just ready to just slice through. And he's just taking so much joy in getting to play and just annihilate him. Poor Yoko Mizo. They almost look like, it almost looks like Witch Hat Atelier with their cultural, the shogi hats on top of their head. And then, yes, oh my gosh. So the butler saying Master Harunobu. That was marvelous. So, yep, they have a game. And Yoko Mizo's like, I cannot stand y'all. So then they have the 100 move event. I love they have this program and they just show how everything is laid out. I am guessing, just judging by what this looks like, that the 100 move event is that they all walk around and make 100 moves on the boards, and it's just like this big celebration of everybody playing shogi. That would be interesting. We had I coach a speech team, and we have like a little practice room area, and one of the students on the team, he was really into chess, and he set up a little chessboard in his cubby area, and he just left it open, and every day somebody could come in, and the rule was everybody could come in the room and make one move on either side. And you had to tally mark which side you made a move on so that things kept even. And we played it for a good while, and then it kind of just got out of control. But for a while, it was a lot of fun. But I like that the chairman is fascinating to me. He is a master shogi player. He clearly is a master. He's clearly good. But he doesn't want to play in front of all the older people. And there could be a number of reasons for that. One, he might feel like he's out of practice, and so he doesn't want to embarrass himself and be like, I'm supposed to be a master shogi player, but I'm losing to these older people. Or two, he may not want to, it may not be the right environment for him to play, or he may have to be like under certain circumstances to like concentrate and focus. So he's like, oh, I'd rather not if I can't be in the zone. Oh, he's fascinating to me. Like I talked about a few episodes ago, he definitely strikes me in an interesting manner where I want to watch him play because I cannot imagine it. I feel like he would almost like make his opponent be irritated because of how like outgoing he is. I feel like he'd be exuding these like rays of energy, and you just be like, can you tone it down? But I don't know. I don't know how that even works. So who knows, right? And then Shimada's like, you are not backing down from this. When he said he had a stomach ache, I was like, sir, chairman, Shimada like played through possibly an ulcer, and you're trying to fake a stomach ache so you don't have to like walk around a bunch of older people and make moves. How dare you, sir? The tact. The tact of it all. I like that neither Ray or Shimada are, the allegations are not holding out. No, not at all. And he's like, I learned my lesson last year. These people are unusually good players, especially that old lady. She'll open up a castle like it's nothing. I like that the chairman's like, I don't mess with her. I wonder if he's married. I'm like, him and that lady could have a chance, right? I don't think I looked close enough to see if he had a ring on. He's like, I can't finish a game in 2 hours. So I guess they're trying to like, within 100 moves across the table, finish a game with all these people. Interesting. And so Mr. Tsuji was complaining about doing it last year, which is the chairman. Interesting. He said he got whipped. He's like, Tsuji, huh? Oh, Tsuji is the one that tried to like start the human shogi game with a pun, and it did not go over at all. He said, love me Tinder. I am Takashi Tsuji. And I love the chairman's like, yeah, no, they didn't get it or like it at all. Which Tsuji kind of looks like millennial or Gen Z, so he looks like he's really young. So I just imagine like somebody in their 20s going up in front of this like council of 80-year-olds and tries to tell like a modern joke, and the 80-year-olds are like, is that all you got? Old people are savage. My great-grandmother was one of my favorite people, and she was like in her 90s and salty as hell, gave no qualms. She was just done. She was like, I don't have to put on airs for anybody. And I was like, I envy you. I was like, no, you don't, ma'am. So I love that. I like the idea that he has to say a pun whenever he like speaks in public. It reminds me of one of the characters out of Haikyuu. He's from Nekuma's team, and he always like talks in puns, and he's like a comedian. So that's really interesting. But yeah, so the 42nd 100 move hall. So this is interesting. So it looks like they're all set up in like, is there 100 shogi boards and they all have to walk around and like play them? The ever popular 100 moves event. And then they have these professional shogi players come out. Master Harunobu. These people have come to beat you, chairman. Oh my god. And then Shimada's like, well, I guess it can't be helped. Shimada just has Nanami Kento energy. That's what it is. Like when he does like the shoulder thing and he like pulls the suit sleeve up. Like there's a character in Jujutsu Kaisen. He's back over there. But his name is Nanami Kento and he's like the adult of all adults. And Shimada gives off that adult of all adults energy, and maybe that's why I love him, because they're just so similar. He's like, I'll join in. It's like, oh, he's like, Grandma and Grandpa's, I'm not gonna hold back. Oh, it's so cute. I love he like pulls up the sleeve that's gonna do the shogi moves. And they're like, you're gonna miss dinner tonight playing against us. So I guess they have to go across and play all the board games until they beat the people. Interesting. I love it. And Nikaido gets in on it too. So it's the four of them. I love Shimada looking so happy. And Shimada looking happy makes Ray happy. And I kind of love that because Shimada, you know, for a guy coming off 4 straight losses and then having to go and visit the people of his hometown that he wasn't able to come and compete against, and be able to not only stand in front of them and play with them, but also to be happy despite all of the hardships he just faced. That has to be inspiring to Ray. It has to be. How could it not be? And so I love Ray just smiling in that moment, being like, well, if he can get through that, I can get through anything. So then we see this journalist come up. And he's like, I get the feeling everyone here is a strong supporter of Shimada. And he's like, his real hometown is more in the back regions of Yamagata. As the population declines, seniors living by themselves get isolated in their homes in the winter because of the snow. And so he's like, he was troubled by that, so he created the Shino Shogi Club. Shiono Shogi Club. And then he, like, twice a week, a bus goes around to all the seniors' houses to pick them up. And they play shogi on kotatsus at the community center, which is where he was as a kid. And that's where we saw him back in the flashback. And he said, well, some play shogi, others cook non-perishable foods for the group in large pots. So it's basically like gathering up all the senior citizens and bringing them twice a week to essentially like this, assisted living facility to like have this community and be together, which is so important. My great-grandmother, she passed away during quarantine from COVID. And I honestly think that COVID and the quarantine had a big effect on her health decline, because she hadn't been in the best of health, but I do think her being isolated from everyone, it definitely hurt her in the long run. And so I definitely feel like that's true. Like when you're isolated and alone a lot, you kind of like maybe draw too inwardly with yourself, and sometimes it can lead you to like have bad health. So I enjoy the fact that they did this, that Shimada started this club, and then when they go home, they take the ingredients and the meals together. Like, this is so good. Like, I actually love this. Like, I wish our communities did something like this more often, because it's so sweet. Like, it's awesome. I love it. Like, I would love to do something like this. It's so cute. And then he's trying to arrange for the elderly people to not feel isolated anymore. And he also made arrangements to sell the non-perishable foods and sweets that the Shiono Club makes to the train stations. Most wonderful of all is how these activities have made the old folks so spry. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking your ear off. And Ray's an old soul, so he's like, no, it's fine. But it's so interesting because we see Shimada alone so much, but he's at the same time doing all of this for his community. And Ray's like, no, I'm glad you told me about this. He's like, you know, he wanted to know how he can apologize to everyone regarding the tournament, but he's like, you know, seeing him do all this makes me really happy. And he's like, oh, well. And so then, yeah, the reporter's like, oh, really? Good. It's like kind of like the reporter's time spent, you know, researching him hasn't been a waste. He's like, I've been covering him all this time for the newspaper, so I've become enamored. And I didn't know if it was just me. And he's like, no, I get it. I understand. And I love that moment where that light, he's like, oh, I see. He's like, is that so? I love that because it kind of like gives justification to the reporter. The reporter's like, well, I've been focusing on Shimada all these years and I didn't know if it was worth it. And Ray's like, no, it is. To tell this story and to share this information, it's absolutely worth it. I'm like, oh, makes me so happy. Yep, and it makes Ray happy. He's like, I felt connected to it. Yep. And that feeling somehow filled me with joy. I was like, yes, let's have one episode where Ray has absolute joy and feels connected in this moment. Let's have that, shall we? We get like one episode where there's no sadness. It almost gets there. Almost. For a brief second, I was like, show, you had to put the little touch in there. But any episode we get where Ray comes out of it happy and having a good time, stop, right? I love it. So then the old people give him like all of the things to take back home. And he's like, you guys are giving me so much. You never change. And they're like, we're never going to change. And Shimada's like, oh. I love that moment because the people in that town are like, we're always going to be proud of you. And we're always going to support you. And it's like, oh, my heart. And Shimada just being like, oh. They're like, we're never going to change. So it's okay. Oh, no need to rush Kai. And I love Shimada, like, in that moment, he's like, I've been rushing so much. How many times do I go back to where I started? I love the way it gets like, it looks like Take On Me, like the music video. But Shimada realizing I was getting so much ahead of myself because I was worried these people weren't going to be there to support me. But why was I worried? I shouldn't have been thinking about that. I shouldn't have been. He's like, I was so lost. Even from here on out, that feeling won't go away. But, and then we see Nikaido and Ray looking their age as they wave the train, for him to get on the train. And he's looking at that banner. He's like, right. Well then, I guess I'll start over again this year and work hard. Oh, Shimada being that emblem of just hard work and being that emblem of just working hard and it, whether it pays off or not, keeping on, persevering, trying again. Oh, it was so beautiful. So beautiful. So then we had the second part of the episode and then at the end he sings that little song and his little singing voice was so cute where he's like, it's going to be scary, but you should pass through. And I feel like that's so true for him and so true for Ray. It's like when you cross over to that next island, you cross that ocean, it's going to be scary, but you should pass through. It's not whether you're going to or not, or whether you can or not, but you should try. It's worth trying. It's going to be scary, but it's worth it. Ah, so good. So then we have the second half of the episode. The small murmur. I like that the small murmur, to me, what I think the small murmur refers to is Hina's wish to take over the sweet shop and her like laying these little foundational moments. Also, we'll talk about her and Ray at the end of this episode. We'll talk about that, but I love the grandpa trying to figure out what dessert he should make next. And I love the idea of like just Japanese patisserie, Japanese confection, and just the different types of sweets that he can make. And I would love to have like the crescent baked good. That looks amazing. The baked crescent shop, like that looks so delicious. And he's like, we need one more. And I like that Akari points out like what they could do, but then Hina challenges it. I like that Hina's like, but what if we did this? And I love the idea that Hina wants to take over and do something related with her grandfather. There's a really cool thing here that's going on, right? Because you have, I didn't bring out Whiteboard Kun. Maybe I should have. But you have Ray on one end, whose father was interested in shogi. And Ray was not interested in shogi, but he ended up playing it for different circumstances. Then you kind of have like Akari over here kind of in the middle ground. I think she likes her job, but it's working for her aunt. It's not really adjacent to the sweet shop. She helps out in the sweet shop, but she's also working in the bar. And she doesn't seem as like, she's working in the sweet shop as an obligation to the family. But then you have Hina, who, like Ray, is connected to her family's business. But unlike Ray, she likes the sweets. She wants to take over that business. She wants to do the sweet shop. Whereas Ray doesn't necessarily want to play shogi at first, but he does it for other reasons. So it's kind of cool to see Hina and Ray come at it from different angles. And I wonder, Ray keeps asking, like, he wants to know from Shimada, why do you play shogi? And he wants to know from Nikaido. And he seems like he wants to ask all of these shogi players why they play the game. But I wonder at one point if he's going to ask Hina, why do you love the sweet shop? Because it's tied to her mom. Like, both Hina and Ray, they have something in common where they've lost a parent and they're kind of tied to a passion of their parent. And so I feel like it would be really cool at some point if after Ray's asked all these shogi players, and I don't know if we'll get it this season or if it'll come in season 3, knock on wood, or the manga, but it would be really cool if after asking all these shogi players, or thinking he was going to ask the shogi players, and then get to like last week's episode where he's like, oh, I can't ask Shimada now. What could he say? I wonder if Hina will be the one to tell him and give him an answer without realizing she's giving him an answer. I wonder if she, through her sweet shop that was her mom and is her grandfather's, will be able to give Ray the answer of why he likes shogi, or if he does like shogi. I just think it would be a cool thing. I think it'd be a cool move. I think it would be neat. I think it would tie their characters together anymore. I'm just saying it could be a thing. But I like that the grandpa is very much against whipped cream, because whipped cream seems like such a not traditional Japanese confection, and he's like, no. So in the crescent pies, it looks like it's the red bean paste that's in there, which I got, like, for Christmas one year, a patron actually got me a subscription. Esteban got me a subscription to like a Japanese kind of like snack box subscription where they would send you monthly snacks. It's really cool. There was a couple that had red bean paste in it. I liked it, so I think I would like red bean paste. I like matcha in lattes. I don't know if I would like matcha out of lattes, but I do like matcha lattes. Those are good. So yeah, and the idea that sweet shops are traps, yes, they are. There is luckily the sweet shop that I know of is like 30 minutes away, but occasionally I have to go to that part of that town. And every time I'm over there, I'm like, well, while I'm here, I drove 30 minutes. I might as well go to the sweet shop and get like a cookie or a cupcake or something to bring back with me. But it is a trap, because you get over there and they're like, well, you could have this one cookie for $2, or you could have, 4 cupcakes for this amount. And while you're here, you could get some coffee, or you could get like this thing to go. And it's just like a money trap. You end up spending, like, you're there, oh, I'm going to spend $1.50 on a cupcake, and you end up spending like $20. And you're like, no. So I know exactly what they mean by piling on the sweets, right? And then something else that's interesting is that these girls, they're so frugal, right? So I wanted to look up this conversion rate though, because the conversion rate, they talk about, they get the 2 sweet desserts and they end up being like 16.10. So they basically spent $10 on the sundae, whereas it originally was like $2.39. So they ended up spending like $10 on the sundaes, which that is a bit pricey for a sundae, but not unheard of. And then they talk about how, because they spent the $10, they were like, oh no, why does this always happen? And they talk about the other groceries they could get. They're like, we spent $10 on a snack and it was very like rich and like fatty. And they're like, we're usually stingy. They're like, we could have bought, 2.3 kilograms of chicken at 68 yen per 100 grams. 68 yen is only like 43 cents. Is it 43 cents a pound? Not how many what is it? 100 grams? Okay, 100 grams is like 0.22 pounds. It's like a third of a pound. So a pound of chicken is 453 yen in her conversion, which is only like $2.84. That's some cheap ass chicken compared to prices around here. But again, we don't know the year and stuff of when this is taking place. And she's like, you could feed a family for 5 days. Oh, basically, okay. So it's 6. Okay, so you basically saying you could have got, kilograms. So that would have been 2,300 So 5 pounds of chicken could have fed you for 5 days. Yes, that is true. That math is not my subject. So basically she's saying for the $10 we spent on this ice cream sundae, we could have bought 5 pounds of chicken to feed, a family for a week. And it's like, yes, that is the thing. When you go to a sweet shop, it is a trap. And because they got to make their money somehow, right? And so like, we'll be even more frugal next month. I like that the karma always comes back, because in this, Ray brings them the extra food that Shimada got. So they spent the $10 on the sundae, but then it ends up coming back. They get the free food that kind of makes up for it. The still shot of Momo with the little squirrel is so cute. Like that still shot of her, like big giant green eyes. And the squirrel, I thought she was going to say like chestnut was the filling that she wanted, because she was holding like a squirrel that had a nut in its hand. But instead she says gum. But I love that when she says gum, her face kind of looks evil. That's hilarious. And then the grandpa's like, what are we going to do? But Hina, she like comes up with all these ideas. And then they make the little Daruma dolls. It's so cute. I like that the grandpa says women want this and that, and they're so greedy. I'm like, look, we can't help it. We want all the things. We can't help it. I do love food though, so I don't blame her for wanting all the mix and match. And that's what leads her to the idea of having the Daruma dolls, where you have 2 different ones together that you can mix and match flavors. The Daruma doll ones, they're so cute. I would buy that and eat it in a heartbeat. It looks like white chocolate. I would have it. I can't have regular chocolate because I can't have cocoa, but I would have that white chocolate. If it's yogurt based, I would eat it in a heartbeat. That looks absolutely delicious. Yep, right. Oh, and they're rice cakes that are filled with different flavors. So they're not even like white chocolate. They're rice cakes. That's super cute. I love that idea. I love the cat reaching for it as well. And then the idea that they would change out each season the flavors, have chestnut in the fall and strawberry in the spring. And then the idea of the mom. Now the mom that died is the grandpa's daughter, Mikako. And he talks about her, the one who thought up the cute shape and name was your mom. She loved cooking and loved Japanese sweets. So yeah, and then like the little rabbit, the rose, all that's cute. I love this idea that Hina, she enjoys it too. Like she really loves it. And she likes making people happy through food. Like a lot of people that cook, they like cooking for people because it makes them happy. And so I like not only that Hina likes to cook food to make people happy, and that's why she wants to run the sweet shop, but she also loves her mom, and she wants to do it almost like a tribute to her. And so again, I really think it would be awesome if Hina and Ray could talk about that and her explain why she wants to inherit the sweet shop, why she likes sweets, because it's a tie to her mom. And then that might help Ray maybe figure out why he keeps playing shogi. I mean, and the answer may not be the same for Ray. I'm not saying it's going to be the same or that it is, but I love that idea. And then she gets ready. Who does she call? I like that, I'm just going to say it. This episode really makes me want to ship Ray and Hina. It really does. Because, like, girl, she didn't call that other baseball boy. Who is he? Is he even around? Who cares? Instead, the first person she calls is Ray. And Ray's right outside the door, probably contemplating whether he should go in or not and ask. And then when she opens up the door and she has that look on her face where she's so excited to see him. She's so happy he's there. And like the light shines in her eyes. And then Ray just looks speechless like, oh. And she's like, good evening. And he's like on the phone like, good evening. Yep. And she's like, would you like to come over for dinner? I mean, here's the thing. Ray is 17. He's almost 18. How old is Hina? Like 13, 12, 13. So they're like 4 or 5 years apart. So obviously they're too young to be together. They're young kids. But I mean, you have the spectrum where you have Kyoko, who's 5 years older than Ray. And then you have Hina, who seems like maybe she's 5 years younger than Ray. When Ray's older and Hina's older, they totally could be a couple. Absolutely they could. But just that little moment, like I love their relationship. And if you told me that you just view Ray and Hina like siblings, I could see that too. But that moment where she opens up the door and she's so excited and he's just like, it just like, that was such a shippable moment to me. I was like, that is a ship moment. That is a hop on a boat, tie out the anchor, and let's go. That was a moment, and I was living for it. And then yeah, and I love Momo's actions when she's just like giddy and bouncing around at Ray being there. I love it. My coworker, she has a daughter who's looks like she's Momo's age, and a lot of the mannerisms that Momo has, that girl has it too, and it's so sweet. And then he gives them all the extra food. And then that day, Kiriyama brought over all the goodies from Yamagata. Sis was thrilled that the side dishes crossed the bridge and made it over to us. And we had the daruma I came up with for dessert. And this is still a secret, but if I can, I'd like to make Japanese sweets for a living. And someday run the shop with Grandpa. Like, she can make the food and make Ray happy. Like, that's just, oh, I love that. I love that so much. Oh. Yep. And then Hinata. Ah, love it. So, the end card for this week is, oddly enough, it is the teacher chasing after Ray. He almost looks like he's wearing the same cardigan as Coda, and he has like a bag of goodies to give with them. I want to look up and see who is the artist for this end card that's right here. Yeah. So the end card, we got here. It is by Kazuhiko Shimamoto, and I'm going to look up them real quick and see who they are. I don't recognize their work outright, but they've done a lot. Oh God, they've done a lot. Manga. Oh, Kamen Rider. Okay, they've done Kamen Rider. I know that series. Okay, and Oihono, Samurai Spirits, Anime Tencho. Kamen Rider is the one that I know the most, just because it's in the zeitgeist the most. Wonderbit, Nine in Adversity, Mubo Captain. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, his style is very, very distinct. Has a very distinct style to it, so that's cool. But neat. Well, how about that? How about that? So, oh, I can't believe next week is the season finale of season 1. I'm really excited to see it, but this episode felt like a palate cleanser. It felt like that dessert. What do they say? They say you're supposed to eat, like, if you're palate cleansing between tasting things, you're supposed to eat a banana because it's like, it just cleanses your palate. It doesn't have a distinct taste. So yeah, this felt like eating the banana before the season finale. So now we just got to see what it leads to. So with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more of March Comes In Like a Lion. Bye.